Where is the wise man? Where is the scholar? Where is the philosopher of this age? Get down! Baltimore!
What are they giving?
Everything out of me. They gonna get a Super Bowl out of me. Believe that. Believe that.
All right, welcome on back to another edition of the Baltimore Beatdown podcast. It is Thursday night, October 27th, 2022. My name is Jake Luke, and I'm joined on my screen by Spencer Nathaniel Schultz. Ravens picking up a big Thursday night football win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Raymond James Stadium down in that concrete slab strip club capital of the world, Tampa Bay. Big 27-22 victory. How we feeling?
Feeling great. That game made me buy a pack of darts. I had a great time. The Ravens go do the damn thing, man. They struggle out of the gate. They're pissed. They're frustrated. They're losing guys. Guys are dropping like flies. They're on the road against the venerable Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. They're down. They don't take a field goal. They struggle to move the ball. And what do, man? They fucking figure it out. They fought through it. They didn't get down on themselves. They didn't bitch and moan and throw hissy fits. Maybe, they got in their emotions a little bit at times, but defense buckled down. Feels like this is the second straight game where the Ravens defense played soft to open the game, let up a touchdown drive, and then sacked up, figured things out, mixed up being aggressive, mixed up being conservative, mixed up blitzes, mixed up rushing for, mixed up simming pressure, mixed up some man coverage, all of those kinds of things. So what happened last week? The Super Bowl 47 Ravens come to town and say, guess what, man? It's a season for a reason. We lost to they say we lost to the Broncos and then, got embarrassed at home and have to go beat them a couple weeks later. Felt like everybody was ready to quit. Like I said, I've abstained from tweeting. I did sneak in a Justin Houston gif, so you can find me for that one if you want. But the overreactions come pouring on in, and Lamar Jackson, Isaiah Likely, Devin Duvernay, James Prochet steps up. The backs get it going. The Ravens figured it out. They kept banging on the drum. They kept answering the bell over and over and over again, especially on third down. And the Ravens end up finishing 6 of 13 in this one, holding the Bucs to 4 of 13. I believe this is the fourth straight game, at least the third straight game where the Ravens have won on third down. And we've got the Cadillac kid, the cardiac arrest savior himself, Zeej Batman in the house, man. What's up, Zeej?
Yes, sir. How's everybody feeling after that? I'm like giddy. I'm giddy right now.
Giddy should be how this fan base feels. 5-3, had every excuse to not be. And here they are, man. Trade deadline coming up. You got a long week. You got a bye week after that. You're getting guys back. We'll see what happens with some injuries for tonight. But how do you not have a smile on your face? How do you not wake up? It's Friday tomorrow. The week's already over with. All your stress, all your worries are melted away. You can listen to some UB40 red wine. It make me feel so fine. And you can dance through this weekend, college football, the rest of the NFL. So Ravens fan base, the Ravens themselves should be feeling fantastic.
Halloween weekend, which, that's huge. So looking forward to that as Halloween well. Weekend. That's going to be great. And just a massive win. Zeke. So something's fucked there, so if you wouldn't mind maybe picking the phone up or doing something with that, it's come through a little weird, so just making that note real quick. But it feels like I titled this episode the Romannassiance. It all happened in one half. It kind of felt like weirdly where he comes out, the offense does, Greg Roman does, Lamar Jackson does, however you want to package it. They throw 30 times to very little success, and they go into the locker room losing 10-3 to this Tampa Bay team, which was not looking particularly high-powered themselves. And I put a little tweet out there that I was starting to get a hunch that Greg Roman his job might not be safe the next day. Let's just put it that way. And I think, like I said, afterward, I'll stand by it. At the time, I thought it made sense. But, they go into the locker room, they make some adjustments, and they decided to actually start running the ball, which, seemed to have a little bit of success for them. They were doing it big with Gus Edwards. He gets banged up a little bit, one of his legs there. looked like he was okay ultimately, but they keep it rolling. Get a little bit out of the run game with Lamar, a little bit out of the run game with Justice Hill, some Kenyon Drake there as well. And then quick hitting passing game. Mark Andrews goes out of this game after being involved early on. Rashad Bateman goes out of this game after not making much of an. And it's like, what are they going to do from there? James Prochet steps up a little bit. Demarcus Robinson steps up in a big way. Isaiah Likely, a little coming out party for him. So, big narrative buster games. Kind of, we've been talking about needing a jolt, kind of shot in the arm type thing. I don't know if this was all the way that, but it definitely feels a little bit like one to me.
They just stabbed Tom Brady in the heart, man. Justin Madubuike, one of my favorite plays of the game as a football fan and as a longtime, AFC, rooting for a team that's in the AFC that had to compete against Tom Brady. Justin Madubuike snuck in like a helmet to a knee or helmet to a quad of Tom Brady, I think, in the early third quarter. And, man, if you can just hit Tom Brady a couple times, you can start to make him feel like he has to move more and get rid of the ball and roll out and do those kinds of things. So it was a weird game from the Ravens pass rush. It felt like they were unable to get anything for so long. And there were even periods of that in the second half, but still kept at it. Justin Houston comes up enormous. The dude's on fire. What does he have? 7 sacks now. I think he's played 4 games. So he's on fire. Madubuike gets some pressure. They bat a couple passes down, and they were just undeterred, man. They kept working at it. They kept fighting at it. And I was really impressed with the way that Mike McDonald's group continued to rally and get off the field and keep that game from tilting. It could have so many times in the first half. It could have at certain points in the second half tilted in favor of the Buccaneers, and they just got off the fucking field. They executed. They broke on the ball. Geno Stone, I believe, has a huge pass breakup on a 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5 situation, knocks a ball out that Brady had tucked away from him. And got to give a ton of credit to this defense.
Yeah, this defense, oh, God.
We're good. Just keep on rolling.
All right. No, this defense, like the biggest things ever since the Miami game, it felt like they kind of struggled in the first couple drives, and then Mike McDonald seems to be so good at adjusting to whatever's being thrown at them, and then they just couldn't figure out the fourth quarter. And it was just kind of like, if they can figure out this fourth quarter thing, they're going to be a top unit in the NFL. They've got all the talent. The pass rush is getting stronger. They've got good secondary players. Marcus Williams is going to come back at some point and make a huge impact. You see the plays that Geno Stone is making right now. Imagine those plays just with a little bit more range from Marcus Williams, and then suddenly you've got a really dynamic defense that knows how to adjust. And I feel like that's such a big part, is that everybody has these meltdowns afterwards, like after the first drive or two, and then people just like they melt. They melt down after like these long first drives, and then Mike McDonald just figures out how to adjust, and they go from there.
Go ahead and unplug your mic, plug it back in, do something. Maybe just go to the phone audio because you're coming through pretty rough there. Give me something.
Is that better now?
Yeah, that sounds good. But yeah, I mean, you make good points, and I think like it was especially concerning. And God damn it, I'm sorry to everyone who's listening to this the next day. We're really kind of figuring this thing out late at night. For some reason, my Google Chrome is acting up. Zege's mic is not sounding great. Spenny has popped in and out, but we're keeping this thing rolling. So apologies to everyone listening on Monday and everything, but we're keeping this. We're building the plane as we fly it here, and that's okay. Just kind of like the Ravens did in this game. I mean, you mentioned the defense there. I was concerned a little bit at first. This kind of felt like, is this going to be a slump buster game for this Buccaneers team? And it didn't seem like there would be any way possible injuries along that offensive line, but they go out there and they score the touchdown early on. And it's like, oh God, it kind of felt a little bit similar to that Browns game where they go out and score a touchdown on the first drive. It's like, man, it's going to be one of those days for the defense, but a little bit of a theme for the defense this entire season, I feel like, has been kind of just flipping the script on a dime. And, after you give up a long drive, you tighten things up. You just tighten them up. It's sort of the terminology I would use for these McDonald approaches to some of these games. It seems like it's been working pretty well, Spen.
Most certainly does. And combining that, they played complementary football, and they did it last week too, just not in full force. And in the second half, they're able to go run the ball. They're able to go put this game on ice. They're able to go kick field goals. They're able to go do things late in this game to take the pressure off of their defense. And I thought that The drive of the game to me was that Devin Duvernay 15-yard touchdown. They go Gus Edwards for 22 yards. He pulls up with a hammy. They're undeterred. Isaiah Likely, they run an awesome little speed option play action fake and get 16 yards. Kenyon Drake turns 1 for 7. Kenyon Drake again for 3. They flip over a little RPO screen to Devin Duvernay for 11. Jackson tears around the side. They end up getting a penalty, which knocks them back a little bit, but it was a first down, so you're 1st and 10 again. They, Lamar scrambles. Kenyon Drake pops 1 for 3 yards, and then boom, they go run a jet sweep option concept with Duvernay and go take the pressure off of their defense that is playing on a short week against Tom Brady on the road. And something that really stuck out to me in this one, not only did we see Lamar settle in, become more accurate, more confident, able to throw with some posture, things like that, but the way he managed the game, it felt like he had a lot of vocal control of the game and the flow and motions and getting to the line and urgency and intensity. And it's just very ironic. There's a report today that he's unhappy in the locker room, blah, 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 blah. It's the same shit that they've been talking about, the same little whispers that come out of that for years. Lamar's a chill dude, but when he's between the white lines, he might not be the most serious practicer of all time. He might not be the most, crazy film study guy, Tom Brady, whatever. Steve McNair used to sleep and miss practice back in the day. Like, you don't have to be that guy. Allen Iverson had the famous quote. So to watch the intensity that he had and to watch it bubble up into a boil in a positive way, as opposed to ruin them or become negative or toxic during a short week, during struggles, I thought was a revelation. I thought it was really fun to watch. And I think that's why they won this game. And that drive for me was so fun because of that.
This is the first time watching a game.
Go ahead.
This is the first time watching a game in the fourth quarter where they have a lead where, I didn't even realize it until now, but, I didn't have this nervous, frantic, anxietal energy. I wasn't, waiting, okay, I'm sitting there and just enjoying the game. I'm just sitting there, and Lamar just looks so poised, and, a lot of people had a problem with Greg Roman's, first half play calling, and you got, Mark Andrews went out, Rashad Bateman went out. He had to adjust, but, I know they didn't run the ball a ton, but I felt like there was extreme purpose behind his quick short game passes where they threw all the time, because Lamar looked the best he had since the Patriots while doing that. It was such a good way him settled in with those just easy, quick throws to Robinson and Prochet and Likely, and he just, for the first time in weeks, just looked like he was in rhythm and comfortable and knew what he was doing with the ball.
So next gen stats, I thought it was actually really cool. I had to watch the game on my phone in its entirety, and let me tell you, I sat outside by myself on a brisk night and watched the game by myself for most of the evening. And it was really cool because next gen stats feeds into Amazon Prime during the game, average throw time, leader of yards after contact, and separation leaders. And watching Lamar Jackson go from in the first quarter after the first few drives, was his time to throw was sitting at 3.3, 3.4. Which is insanely late and long. He ends up finishing 2.77 seconds. So the Ravens go no huddle a couple times towards the end of the first half. They spread it out, leave some guys on the field. DeMarcus Robinson was awesome in this game and got them going. And it felt like was a veteran presence to a degree that Lamar could trust and throw some speed outs, throw some hitches, throw a couple things for him and go make plays. So to watch them speed things up and for Lamar to settle in and finally trust getting the ball out in rhythm, because it felt like a silver lining, and I think this is cliche, and a lot of fans will say this, but I will agree. Mark Andrews goes down, and it's like ripping the Band-Aid off. It's like, all right, your big boy's gone. Go make plays with other players. You're going to have to – you're done. Andrews has been hurt and tried to battle through. He couldn't do it. Bateman's off the field, so you're going to have to go use Prochet and Likely and Robinson. And, again, that's why so many people, I think, have said, do they really need a big-name receiver to come in? I would love to see one for depth purposes and because it can't hurt, but it is a better product of playing with confidence. And again, that Super Bowl Ravens team, they said, Jim Caldwell says, it meant the world to me. I take over as offensive coordinator. Terrell Suggs knocks on my door, comes into my office and says, we don't care what you call. We've got your back. Just believe, just buy in, just do it. Just do what you're fucking supposed to do. Do your job. And Lamar ends up going, I think 8 for 8 in the second half with 2 touchdowns. And had complete control. So it was fun to watch. And like you said, Zeej, I think he ends up with 136 yards, 2 touchdowns, 155 passer rating in the second half. It was fun to watch again. They're functional. They're fun. It was exciting. It was joyful. It sparked joy. Shout out to Marie Kondo. So good time, good game.
Yeah, and it's like a little bit of a body language expert type take here, but like, and this goes into, I think, Skip's dogged reporting that we saw today, where he was talking to all his hashtag sources inside the locker room. But it doesn't take a body language expert to look at what Skip was saying and think like, man, maybe there is a kernel of truth to this. Maybe it's not all the way true, but he believes what he's saying, probably for good reason. Where you look at him at press conferences, you look at him in some of these games, and it's just like, man, like, what is going on with this guy? Like, it's just, the juice doesn't seem there. The energy doesn't seem there. He just seems a little checked out in some ways. And it's, I think understandable. He's had a lot going on in his life, and it's been kind of a grind every single time that he stepped onto a football field for the last year and a half, going all the way back to games that he was playing last season. It's felt like a complete grind, and that can really take it out of you. And it felt like it really was starting to take its toll on him leading into this year. But it felt like the fire was there for me tonight, where you look at what happened in the first half with the fourth down opportunity they get. And he does his trademark thing where he waves off Justin Tucker, and he's all pissed off, and, they go for it and they don't get it, and nothing comes out of it. It's like, you kind of laugh a little bit, but at least it was, retroactively, I guess, because they won the game. It's good to look back and say, oh, well, there was that fire. There was that competitive juice that he has. Translated over to the second half. I mean, he's following Pat Ricard on a, QB run to the right side off the strong side there. And he literally sees Ricard holding on the play as he's running out of bounds. He's already screaming at him, already screaming at the ref, doing,
dialed in, man. He was dialed into it.
He was dialed. Yeah. He was absolutely honed in on everything that was going on. And he was not afraid to let guys know how he was feeling. But then, they go and score a touchdown on the same drive with Duvernay, and then he's running up and dapping up Ricard. He's dapping up all his guys. And he was completely in command tonight. And it was great to see. He felt fully engaged, fully checked in, fully dialed in for the first time in a couple weeks at this point.
Well said. And I don't know, I just keep thinking back to third downs and converting and getting stops. And it feels like that's why, I to plug myself again, but I'm so excited to do this series looking at the third downs, because they are beating teams, and they're not 6-2 or whatever, but they are beating teams on third down, and that's how you win games. What else did they not do? Even while they're stagnant in this game, again, for the second straight week, Lamar takes some sacks or a weird play happens. What did they not do? Turn the football over. They didn't turn the ball over for 2 straight weeks. That in itself, in the NFL, it is very difficult to do against a Bucs defense that was playing well to start the game, and things are going awry, and you don't see him go panic and have that, the low light of his season was that Giants interception he threw, and that boneheaded absolute, mess that kind of lost the game. That hasn't happened. They've just kept themselves in it, breathed, and pushed forward. So, the RELAX has done better than the FINISH. So I'm just really excited about this team. We'll see what happens with the bye week, with the trade deadline, with Bateman's injury, with Andrews' injury, with, Kyle Hamilton, who did come back in that game. Marlon Humphrey gritted this game out. He could barely, he was having a tough time staying on the field and was able to go compete, make some plays. Mike Evans, Tom Brady drops one in the breadbasket. Marlon's arm is right inside of it. Like he gritted this one out, played super well. The Ravens also dropped how many interceptions? 15 interceptions in this game. So even with that, you still handled the Bucs on a short week on the road into a long week, into a bye. This is the time. The time is now to ramp up and continue to move forward. They're very fortunate that they come out with this win. We said on the preview show, this is a wouldn't it be nice game. And boy, oh boy, is it nice to be 5-3 instead of 4-4. Boy, oh boy, is it nice to put the pressure on the Bengals who don't have Jamar Chase now. Boy, oh boy, does it feel better examining the trade deadline and thinking, we could make a move here and get a Pro Bowler at corner or receiver and probably be a team that can beat any team at any given time if we play decent football. So pumped up about this Ravens team, pumped up about this game, pumped up about this defense, pumped up about Lamar rut slamming himself out and boiling over and getting the, the water steaming and blows the lid off, and the Hillary Clinton glass ceiling is shattered and Lamar emerged from it. And I'm fired up about it, man. I'm very excited. This is a sick game to watch.
Yeah, I think my overall sort of take on it, just really good to see them go out and actually take control of one and win it. Not to disparage any of their other wins, but it just felt like they kind of, it was kind of, you go ahead, take it. No, I insist, like that kind of thing. It felt like that way with some of their wins. And this was just one where they, like we said, they came out in the second half determined to go ahead and get it done. They did that. And it was not a sigh of relief win. It was fuck it. We're going to go ahead and take this one win, and on the road against the greatest QB of all time, and a defense that has some talented players. That is not anything to shake a stick at. So that's kind of my meta overall feeling take on it right now. Zeke, how's your overall feelings on it, I guess, as we start to wrap it up?
Spenny said it best. Pumped up is it. Like, it almost, like, again, it doesn't, but it almost sucks that they have, like, this one game in 23 days or whatever, because I'm ready for the next game, and like I'm ready to start building momentum, and like call me crazy and call me like already being pessimistic, but I'm almost worried that they're gonna lose like this energy from stacking 2 wins within a single week of like play with this long break. I mean, we saw it happen in 2019. Let's not bring the energy down, but like I'm just ready to see them with the next game. I'm ready to see them go back out there on the field, and like it feels like this team is like ready to play. Lamar's going out there and signing like fans posters that they're dropping into the walkway, and Mark Andrews and Rashad Bateman are delivering speeches in the halftime like, you don't need us, you guys have this, and the defense is there in the red zone like swatting balls down in the fourth quarter, and just this team just for the first time just like all around they all feel like they're ready to play. Like it's finally like clicked for them, and they realized, yeah, we've got talent on this team. Let's just go win every game because we can do it. And it feels like that.
Yeah.
Feels like they bought in.
Yeah, bought in. Good way to put it. And yeah, I mean, you got another primetime game coming up, another one taking place in the Southeast there with the New Orleans Saints, who I guess we're going to see what happens with them and some of these key players they have at the deadline. They don't look like any sort of serious Super Bowl contender to me. Who knows if it's going to be Jameis or Andy Dalton that they're going to be facing off against. But, listen, it's another tough test on the road, NFC opponent, but goddamn, it feels good knowing that you're going to go into the bye above 500. So that's a nice feeling for sure. Any last thoughts before we get on out of here, boys?
Second half of the schedule is cake, and who knows, what happens with the Jamar Chase, and it's time to go buy. It's time to go buy a veteran. It's time to go buy someone that has played in multiple systems. Whether that's, I want to see them get a second contract player or third contract player that can translate between systems and be successful. I wouldn't be pissed at Jerry Jeudy, but I kind of just want a quiet veteran addition if they're going to do something. Jerry Jeudy would be really cool, but go get someone that is a pro. And these injuries, we'll see what happens with Andrews. It's a shoulder, luckily, and feels like he was still ready to maybe rock and roll, and they're like, not worth it. And ends up getting out of there. So him, Bateman, what else we got? I mean, Edwards has a hammy. That stinks, but you've got time, and you don't have to rely on him against probably a Saints team that you should be able to pretty much smother defensively. So I don't know. Go get another Pro Bowler, man. Go get like not Matthew Judon, but like someone like that caliber. Someone that's like a very high B-list player somewhere, from the Colts, from the Saints, from one of these, Commanders teams.
Any more from the Colts.
And buy in. And guess what, man? Lamar Jackson's holding up that sign for a reason. Go finish this shit. I'm sick of it. And it feels like if you want this team to buy in, then you have to show them that you are bought in to who is at quarterback. And sometimes just making a decision is better than weighing decisions over and over again. And you let the beauty pass you by when you hesitate and you overanalyze and things like that. I think a good way to look at it is, guess what? They go for it on fourth down. They don't get it. They don't point the finger. They come back, figure it out, keep pushing forward. Guys are inspired. And I feel this team has some tip for a couple weeks here. And they haven't quite had that 40-10 blowout where everyone's like, wow, the Ravens are a wagon. But they just are ascending. And you can see it on both sides of the football, especially defensively. So it's time. Go do it. Shia LaBeouf. Do it.
Zeke, anything else?
No, go trade for a wide receiver. Go trade for a corner. Pay Lamar over the break, and go do it. Just freaking do it. Just do it.
You're the first person to ever come up with that. So yeah, that's That's big. That's big stuff from everyone. And yeah, for my part, both of you find a way to cut. Let's come to the table here over the bye. Let's stop with this deadline nonsense. Let's just get the contract done. Like I'm ready. I've been ready for it. It's over. Let's make that happen. And let's make the end of this pod happen. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. Sorry for some of the technical struggles here. Been a weird one for sure. On my end, at the very least, you guys did fantastic. Thanks for joining as always, making the show what it is. Thank you guys for listening, making this show what it is. Always really fun to do these after a big win. Not always as fun after a big loss to be up late and doing these, but I always love hopping in the stew and chopping up a big one, especially on the road against an opponent like this. So thank you all for listening. We will talk to you again. Probably going to be a little while, actually. Maybe we'll take a little break and then we'll get back after for the Saints game. Maybe we'll do an interview or something over the coming week. We got plenty of time. The world is our oyster here, but until then,
I would love to get Brad Spielberger for the deadline. That's who I'm trying to hit up.
That's a good idea. Yeah. So let's get in touch with him. Let's make that happen. But other than that, we will talk to you guys later.
See ya.
Arrivederci.
Where is the wise man? Where is the scholar? Where is the philosopher of this age?
Get down!
Baltimore!
What are they getting? Everything out of me. They gonna get a Super Bowl out of me. Believe that. Believe that.